We look forward to bringing the iTunes and AirPlay 2 experience to even more customers around the world through Samsung Smart TVs, so iPhone, iPad, and Mac users have yet another way to enjoy all their favorite content on the biggest screen in their home. Eddie Q, Apple's Senior Vice President of Internet Software and Services, on what can only be termed a bombshell announcement from Samsung just a short time ago. So, okay, wait, yeah, but what? I'm Rene Ritchie, and this is Vector. Here's the rest of the Samsung announcement, with some thoughts and questions from yours truly. Samsung Electronics Company Limited announced today it will offer iTunes movies and TV shows and Apple AirPlay 2 support on 2019 Samsung Smart TV models beginning this spring. Support on 2018 Samsung Smart TVs will be made available via firmware update. In an industry first, a new iTunes movies and TV shows app will debut only on Samsung Smart TVs in more than 100 countries. AirPlay 2 support will be available on Samsung Smart TVs in 190 countries worldwide. So, Apple opening up a fire hose to Samsung and letting them make a crappy smart TV app to showcase iTunes content is, frankly, inconceivable to me. What it sounds like we have here, which up until today I would have said sounded only slightly less inconceivable, is Apple making iTunes for Samsung the way it makes iTunes for Windows. Yeah, insert Steve Jobs.
It's like giving a glass of ice water to somebody in hell.
Joke, but only now there are so many other glasses of water in the industry. Can we even call it hell anymore? With the new iTunes movie and TV show apps on Samsung Smart TVs, Samsung customers can access their existing iTunes library and browse the iTunes store or buy or rent from a selection of hundreds of thousands of movies and TV episodes, including the largest selection of 4K HDR movies. iTunes movies and TV shows will work seamlessly with Samsung Smart TV services, such as Universal Guide and new Bixby and Search, to create a consistent experience across Samsung's platform. There's a lot of integration right there, and from Samsung, which is Apple's biggest rival in the smartphone space, and the company that Apple spent the better part of the last few years suing, basically for ripping off Apple designs. But Samsung isn't really one company. It's a conglomerate of different companies that all license the Samsung name. Even as Apple was suing Samsung Mobile, it was buying parts from Samsung LSI. And Samsung Electronics is a huge player in the TV space. So if Apple wants eyeballs, it's an incredibly efficient place to put all of that porting effort. And unlike Windows, it's not the only big player in town. So while this may be exclusive for now, it might also be just the beginning. With AirPlay 2 support, Samsung customers will be able to effortlessly play videos, photos, music, podcasts, and more from Apple devices directly to Samsung Smart TVs, including QLED 4K and 8K TVs, the Frame and Serif Lifestyle TVs, as well as other Samsung UHD and HD models. So here's a question. Will Samsung phones get AirPlay 2 now as well? HTC phones got the original AirPlay a while ago after all. Why didn't Apple just build a TV? Apple did, a couple of them, but Apple never saw them as a viable product, and so they never left the labs, or maybe only briefly for Johnny Ives' Super Bowl or Rugby World Cup parties. Now, all of this may come as a bit of a surprise, but it really shouldn't. Apple is getting ready to ramp up its original TV content, the video version of Apple Music, and Apple Music has always been available on Android, and it's recently been made available on Amazon Echo as well. Which, yeah, was another head scratcher, if not a full-on pea-soup spitting spinner as well. But in light of the saturationing, which is, what I'm still calling the maturing of the smartphone market, Apple isn't just about making the iPhone more and more valuable through more and more exclusive content anymore. It's about getting value from that content beyond iPhone exclusivity as well. That's always included iTunes on Windows and Apple Music on Android, and now it looks like it's going to include Apple Video on Samsung, and who knows, maybe Apple's new texture-based magazine and news service at some point. And what about iMessage and FaceTime on Android and Windows? I can hear so many people calling out so all at once. Well, Apple Music on Android and iTunes on Samsung TVs all have business models behind them. People pay, people subscribe to the content. Would people subscribe to iMessage or FaceTime on Android or Windows? I don't know. You hit up the comments and tell me. Now with AirPlay 2 support, it also becomes a fantastic way to watch Skillshare. And that includes Thomas Frank's new productivity masterclass. Manage your tasks, set up your calendar, take your notes, organize your digital files, organize your physical files. everything Thomas has been talking about on YouTube, but is now personally teaching on Skillshare. And if productivity isn't your thing, Skillshare has over 20,000 classes in design, business, technology, and more. Premium membership gives you unlimited access so you can get better at your job, get a better job, or just learn something that's not your job. Just visit the link in the description below, and the first 500 of you get 2 months of unlimited access for free. Act now and start learning today. Thanks Skillshare, and thanks to all of you for supporting the show. This news is so fresh, so new, so interesting that it's going to take me a while to sift through all the angles and figure out what all is going on. And I also have a sneaky suspicion that because this is CES week, we're going to see a bunch more news drop all week. So I'm going to make sure I take anything else that develops and put it in a sticky comment right at the very top of this video, so you can keep checking back and stay absolutely up to date on everything that's happening. In the meantime, I'm going to ask you, did you see this coming? And what do you think about it now that it has? Does it make you more likely to get a Samsung TV, less likely to get an Apple TV, more or less likely to buy and subscribe to Apple content? Hit like, hit subscribe, it really helps out the channel, and then hit up the comments below and let me know. And thank you so much for watching.